Hi, my name is Melissa Dark, and I'm going to talk about the big idea of cybersecurity ethics. So I've worked in cybersecurity ethics for about 15 years, and I'm happy to spend 3 or 4 minutes here telling you what we think are the key ideas, the essential understandings that a student taking a high school class in cybersecurity should know about cybersecurity ethics. And I'm going to start with this. All technological innovations come about because we want them to help human life. These are things that we would consider to be benefits. We can go through cars, planes, trains, automobiles, heat, running water, indoor plumbing. All of the benefits, I think, of those technologies are pretty self-evident. Think about computers, how it helps us communicate with each other, how it helps us calculate, do our work more efficiently. Think about cell phones, a contemporary technology that I think all of us consider to be almost essential to our lives. So there are many benefits that come about with technology, but there can also be harms. And I'm going to use an example here of GPS. And first I want to talk about the benefits of GPS. I have GPS on my cell phone. I'm sure you do too. So what are a couple of the good things? Well, it can help me know that, for example, my kids are safe. It can help me find my friends if we're separated at a festival. It can help me navigate pretty quickly from one place to the next. It can help me find close, cheap gasoline. GPS can help me get emergency care right where I need it, when I need it. And all of those things are terrific benefits. But GPS can also be used to invade people's privacy, to track people, to stalk people. And those things are the harms. So the first thing that we want students in this class to think about with regard to cybersecurity ethics is benefits and harms. And how do I feel about benefits and harms with regard to my ideas of right and wrong? And from that baseline, we want them to build, and we want them to think a little bit, not just about what they think in terms of benefits and harms, but we want them to think about competing interests. So when you stop and you think a technology is developed by a person or a company or a corporation, so that person, company, or corporation, they have their own interests. And then the technology is purchased and implemented by another person, company, or corporation. And the user, the implementer, they have their interests as well. And sometimes those interests aren't the same. And sometimes the benefits and the harms to the developer and the benefits and the harms to the consumer or the end user are not the same benefits and harms as they are to the developer. So we want students to unpack that a little bit and think about benefits and harms in kind of that multi-layered perspective. We'd also like students to think about benefits and harms in a little bit more abstract sense, right? So technology sometimes helps us be more autonomous, but it sometimes invades our privacy. Sometimes technology helps us to be more secure, but other times it puts us at a little bit of a disadvantage. We could be discriminated against. So we want students to unpack and think a little bit about these notions of autonomy, equity, privacy, security, resilience, efficiency. And we want them to think about what affordances does a technology have to support those values, or what in fact does a technology do to infringe or impinge upon those values. So when we think about benefits and harms and competing interests and trade-offs, we want students to think about them in that abstract sense of what do we value, what are the values afforded here, what are the values potentially thwarted or threatened here. Because it's thinking about those values that really gets us to the heart of what it means to think carefully and critically about cybersecurity ethics. So as you look at this framework, we hope that you will give us your ideas on whether you think it covers the right topics in cybersecurity ethics. We hope that it inspires a course or a unit that you would develop on cybersecurity ethics that you might teach in your cybersecurity class. And the last thing that I wanted to say about the framework and about the big idea of cybersecurity ethics is, even though it comes first, we do not view cybersecurity ethics as being a standalone unit or an isolated lesson that would be taught. Instead, we really think that cybersecurity ethics is so important that it would ripple across or weave across all of the other big ideas and should be revisited as students think about what it means to establish trust and what it means to have ubiquitous connectivity and what it means to have data security and system security. So that's my brief introduction and summary of the big idea of cybersecurity ethics. Thank you.